listening to the Domenick Nati Show. News, gossip, celebrity interviews with limited knowledge and accuracy in sports and politics. And now, your host, celebrity publicist, Domenick Nati.
That's right, it's Friday, and it is time for the Domenick Nati Show on Intellectual Radio in Chicago and iHeartRadio. We got a good one for you today. Now, our guest is Matthew Knowles. Matthew Knowles, Knowles. You may have heard of a singer or two with the same last name. Today's guest is Beyonce and Solange's father and the manager of Destiny's Child, Matthew Knowles. Yeah, it is a good one. Matthew is a great guy. I've actually been in contact with him for several years. This was the first time I got to interview him. I think it was great. I got to catch up with him about his company, where he takes a lot of people in Houston, mostly girls, and he's got a girl group called Blush, and he is promoting them, and they've got great music. So I asked him about his music company. He talked to me about that. Then also, he has a couple lawsuits right now, people accusing him of some things, not paying him. He's been accused of auctioning off some of Beyonce's memorabilia to liquidate his assets. A lot of stuff I tried to clear up as much as I could, and he gave me quite a nugget of something that is to come next week. It appears as though Mr. Knowles has had enough of people lying about him and using Beyonce's name to further their agenda. So he told me that everybody that lies to him from now on is getting sued. That is an exclusive that you will hear in a few moments right here on the Domenick Nati Show. This is not a long interview. I think a couple questions in, he kind of got sick of the direction I was going in, and he wrapped it up. It's okay. Not everybody has to talk to old Dom, but I want to ask the questions that I know people want to know. But he was super nice. He said a lot of nice things. He just didn't want to talk about his personal life, so we wrap it up quickly. So be ready for that. But we got some good stuff coming up with Matthew Knowles, Beyonce's dad, coming up right after this.
This is Mama G, and you're listening to the Domenick Nati Show.
This is the Domenick Nati Show on iHeartRadio and Intellectual Radio. Do you have a business and are looking for a creative and effective way to market your product or services? Are you an entertainer or recording artist looking for a captive audience to display your talent to? The Domenick Nati Show is now offering on-air commercial advertising for as low as $50. Your product or talent will be presented by celebrity publicist Domenick Nati and be seen on our social media accounts and on iHeartRadio and select stations throughout the country. Send us a message on social media at Dom Nati Show or email DomenickNatiShow@gmail.com for more information. The Domenick Nati Show, maximum exposure, minimum censorship. You're listening to the Domenick Nati Show on iHeartRadio and Intellectual Radio.
Okay, welcome back to the Domenick Nati Show on iHeartRadio and Intellectual Radio in Chicago. I have been telling you about our special guest all program, and he is finally on the phone with us. Matthew Knowles is with us today. Mr. Knowles, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. I'm here in Houston, and it's a beautiful day.
Yes. We're excited. Yes, summer is just around the corner. I'd just love to jump into some questions. You began your career in 1992, and this marks the 25 years of you being in music entertainment. Can you tell us what your company, Music World Entertainment, is focusing on right now?
Well, today, we're focusing on two new young acts. One being Blush, and the other one, duo Hoax and Hayes. And that's where our focus is. We also have a catalog, a record label, over 300 albums, everywhere from Earth, Wind, and Fire to Shaka Khan, Solange, some Beyonce, a country label, gospel label. So that's where our focus is. We stay busy.
Yeah, I noticed that on your website, it lists dozens of artists under your representation. Do you personally represent all of those artists listed on the site, or do you just focus on a handful of artists at a time?
No, I mean, from a record label standpoint, we're the record label.
Right.
From a management standpoint, we only manage 3 artists, and that's Blush. We co-managed Hoax and Hayes, and I still manage Destiny's Child. And as a manager, every day there's a license request, there's some type of request that I still have to manage with Destiny's Child.
Oh, okay. So is the roster full right now, or are you currently looking for new talent?
No, I'm focusing on what we have today. And one of the mistakes a lot of young labels do, and a lot of folks that get into business, they put too much on their plate. As you know, managing an artist or being a label, that's a lot of challenges, and
Absolutely.
you have to really stay focused on 1 or 2 artists. You can't be all over the place trying to represent 6, 7, 8 artists, in my opinion.
No, I totally agree. Yeah, you just spread yourself too thin, and people don't get the right amount of attention. So I appreciate that. We had your group Blush on the show a few weeks ago. They mentioned that you pay for the 3 girls to live in a 1-bedroom apartment. Is that something that you do for all of your clients, or is that just something special for them?
Well, that was something special for them. I've done it before for a couple of artists before. But these ladies, they don't have the means. They're focused 24 hours a day on their career. And they just don't have the time to, do anything other than focus on their career. So It's just my responsibility as their manager and as their record label to just ensure. I wanted to make sure that they were all 3 together. And when you're starting out, you don't make it too plush. You have to, steps by steps, that's the price you have to pay for success in this business. You have to work for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, that I totally agree. I wanted to ask you about this. So yesterday, one of my clients died that I do PR for, Charlie Murphy. Did you have any friendships or interaction with the Murphy family? Did you ever interact with Charlie or maybe even his brother Eddie? And do you have any thoughts about his passing? Or did you hear about that?
Well, I actually sat next to Eddie one year at the Oscars. Beyonce and Eddie were in the same movie, Dreamgirls, together, and Eddie was up for an Oscar from that movie. But we've been in this business 25 years. You pretty much know everyone in the industry that's notable, because you go to these award shows, you go to business functions, and you get to build relationships. I mean, I didn't know him as, if I could pick up the phone and dial him. It wasn't that kind of knowing, but just respectfully and respect when we see each other out at different occasions.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, I always want to give celebrities a chance to clear up any rumors that are out there. Your previous attorneys have opened up a suit against you for unpaid services of $50,000. Are these allegations true, and why do you think they're accusing you of this?
Well, I can't talk about that because there's pending litigation, and we will take a legal action maybe today or tomorrow. So unfortunately, I can't comment on that at all.
Okay, and then I guess they also mentioned you holding an auction during the Super Bowl weekend to sell your daughter's memorabilia. Is that was that accurate, or where do you think they're getting these?
No, we sent the press release out that is 100% a lie, and there will be a price to pay for those people who started that lie. So, in the past, in my whole career in the music industry, I've only sued one time. I'm not litigious. I turn my face on stuff. I just think that people that are litigious, they're just not good people. But unfortunately, I have to change that philosophy. We will be filing lawsuits against people that continually lie, and they lie just simply because they need Beyonce's name so that they can keep their viewership or their audience. And I'm not going to let them use my daughter like that anymore. And so if you tell a lie, I'm going to sue you.
Yeah. I mean, they came up with a whole story that, you're selling this memorabilia, and it sounds like it's completely fabricated. And yeah, I know
it's enough. It's enough of that. And you will in the next 7 days, you will see, and you'll say, now I know what Ms. Snow's talking about. We're going to start filing lawsuits on people that lie. And there'll be people that you see on TV. And that's enough of that.
Is there anyone else that's going to come out soon that you can talk about that's been, because I know this happens a lot where people come out with a lot of allegations against you, and it never amounts to anything, which does make it seem like they're fictitious claims. Is there anyone else that you're going to be targeting soon that you can talk about?
I can't talk about it, but just overall, look, the media, there are some very, very good people. I have some great relationships with the media. I don't dislike the media, but what I do dislike is those individuals and companies that use lies to build their audience. I'm smart. I know at the end of the day, this is about selling advertising. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to let you take advantage of my kid's name and throw me under the bus so that you can sell advertising. It's not going to happen anymore.
Gotcha. Well, that's good to hear. I guess we'll stay tuned to see. You said the next 7 days. We'll stay tuned to see, to look for that. So who do you feel is the most underrated person in music today?
Wow. I just think there's a lot of underrated independent artists in music today. I'm happy. I'm happy to see the growth of independent artists and finally getting acceptance by the general public. Finally getting acceptance by the media. Finally getting their records played by radio. And I'm very grateful to see that happen for independent artists. So there's a lot of independent artists. And I'm also happy to see and proud to see Solange and her growth and having her first #1 record and breaking records with her and her sister being the first two sisters to ever have #1 records in the history of music. And to see her show and her artistry as well as her creativity. She gives an incredible live performance. And I'm very proud of her and happy for her. And for many years, she was underrated. And that she had to also live in a shadow of a megastar. And she handled that so well, and their relationship, Beyonce and Solange, is so good. So I'm very proud of that as a father.
Do you still help a lot with the day-to-day with Solange or Beyonce, or is it just more? Do you mentor them still, or
I get to talk often with my kids. There were rumors years ago I hadn't seen my granddaughter, and I have to say the one lawsuit that I ever filed was against a magazine who came to my office, interviewed me, all photos of me and Beyonce and my granddaughter, all in my office, and then went back and wrote I had never seen my granddaughter. And I'm just, that just really icked me. And again, it's just, a different day. Fortunately, I get to talk often to my kids, but I stay in a lane of father. That's the lane I want to be. And if they know if they need some help, they can always call me. But for the years that I spent as their manager and as their record label, I hope and I can see that they learned and listened, and they are well versed on the business side of music and entertainment.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's a transition, I guess, from father to manager, then back to father is pretty much, not that you weren't their father when you're a manager, but you know what I mean. Like, it's just to have those
I know what you
dual. Yeah. Now, who do you feel is the most overrated person in music today?
I don't know. I'm not mad at somebody can build their brand. I'm not mad at that. If they can build a brand where they're overrated, good for them.
Yeah.
Good for you. You built a great brand.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people, especially with hip hop, they're people that are older, disappointed
it's a different way I look at it. It's good for you. I'm one of those guys. I want to see people win, and if you built your brand, you worked hard for that. In some way, you worked hard for that. You don't become overrated and do nothing. You have to work hard for it. But look, I have to take my next call. It's been great talking to you. And I really, thank you. Blush has their new single coming out, Work, and they were able to go and send all of the program directors for iHeart. And, I've been friends with iHeart for years. And so just want to say thanks to you and to iHeart Media for all the support they've given Music World and all my artists. Yeah.
Do you mind if I ask one more question, just to something else that was in the news? I know that a source came out saying that you may have leaked the gender of Beyonce's twins. Is that public yet? Like, do you know when the twins are due and what the gender is, or is that not?
I'll talk business questions with you all day long, but what I don't do is talk personal questions. Okay. But I'm not mad at you for trying and asking. Okay. But anyway, gotta go now. Thank you again.
Hi, this is Todd Chrisley, and you're listening to the Domenick Nati Show.
This is the Domenick Nati Show on iHeartRadio and Intellectual Radio. Do you have a business and are looking for a creative and effective way to market your product or services? Are you an entertainer or recording artist looking for a captive audience to display your talent to? The Domenick Nati Show is now offering on-air commercial advertising for as low as $50. Your product or talent will be presented by celebrity publicist Domenick Nati and be seen on our social media accounts and on iHeartRadio and select stations throughout the country. Send us a message on social media at Dom Nati Show or email DomenickNatiShow@gmail.com for more information. The Domenick Nati Show, maximum exposure, minimum censorship. You're listening to the Domenick Nati Show on iHeartRadio and Intellectual Radio.
And we're back. Domenick Nati Show, Intellectual Radio, iHeartRadio. Ba-bam! I tried to warn you, that was our exclusive interview with Matthew Knowles, Beyonce's dad and former manager of her and Destiny's Child. Well, I thought it was great. I think you heard what I heard, which is where he said he has another call. Not sure if that was true, but I think he was done talking to me. It's okay. Hey, there really is no hard feelings between us. I get it. He gets the concept of this show. I understand he doesn't want to talk about his personal life. No problem at all. I had a great time talking with Matthew. Matthew, thank you so much for being on the show. And we are all going to be on the lookout for whatever he was talking about. He said in the next 7 days, some lawsuits are going to be on TV that he is rolling out. So I am interested, and I hope you are too. So we are all going to be looking to see what Matthew Knowles is going to be doing in the next 7 days to people that keep throwing accusations at him. I am interested. I have some news to address that is actually very serious. I have been a publicist for 11 years, and one of my clients has passed away this week. On Wednesday, you probably heard that Charlie Murphy died. I'm a little teary-eyed right now while I'm talking to you. This is the first time in 11 years this has ever happened, but I was Charlie's publicist for about 4.5 years. But October of 2012, I actually went back and looked it up to see when we started, and he passed away on Wednesday with a battle with leukemia and cancer. Charlie was a great guy. Obviously, most people know Eddie Murphy's brother. They know his work with the Chappelle Show. I had a lot of things come in for him since the beginning of the year, since about January, and he and his manager have not really responded since January with any of the press requests that I was throwing their way. I couldn't quite understand it. And on Wednesday, it all became clear. I had no idea that Charlie was sick. I had no idea he was fighting leukemia and was taking chemo. Part of being a publicist, I only get told what they want the world to know. That's my job. But I got about 30 phone calls. I broke the news to CNN, ABC, CBS, NBC. I mean, just call after call. I confirmed everything. And I want to say to whoever's listening and whoever is a fan of Charlie Murphy that I think he knew how much he was loved, because I knew, feeling his emails, fans writing in, people just saying how much he meant to them. Those actually do not go unnoticed. So I appreciate when people write that in about my clients. To be honest, I wish I would have forwarded those things more to Charlie when he was alive. But I guess you live and learn, and the world lost a great person this Wednesday. And yeah, and it was tough. It was a tough week for me, to deal with that. But thank you to all of his fans and everybody that loved him. And thank you to everyone for listening today to the Domenick Nati Show. We'll see you next week.